And good morning. I'm your friend Scotty Ray. Off to the races we go on a early Monday morning. Now this is the beginning of the end of April as we near May. Is going to be Wednesday, May 1st. Which means I know we had Lamar prom on Saturday night. I saw a lot of dresses floating around, a lot of pictures being taken, and all of this comes to an end before long. Graduation right around the corner. You'll be getting some invitations in the mail, I'm sure, here in just a little bit. So be ready for that as we get today going. Let's see here. I need to mute that, get that out of the way there. Don't forget to tune in this morning beginning at 7 as we'll go local with all the local headlines. And, of course, as we'll start out this day, details coming at 7, there's tragedy in our area. A train versus pedestrian early this morning on the tracks in Tumsuba. We'll give you all the details of what we know went on. This would happen around 3:30 this morning as we begin this. Just heartbreaking. That's on the way this morning beginning at 7. Don't miss out on that. Odie is back from I guess we could say a beach vacation. What a tan he's got over there. The man of leisure is back in town. We're glad to have him. Glad he had a good time and a little time to get a rest. We'll be right back. Let's go get some good words. We always have to have what makes us greater people? Faith. It really does. Pay attention to what we got here. Let's go out to Collinsville Baptist.
You know, one of my favorite verses in scriptures from the Gospel of Luke chapter 1, the angel Gabriel tells the Virgin Mary that she'll soon conceive and give birth to a child. And this news greatly perplexes Mary because, she's never been with a man. And so she asks, how will this be since I'm a virgin? And the answer from Gabriel is one of my favorite verses. He says, for nothing will be impossible with God. I love that verse. I love the hope it communicates. He can do anything God sets his holy mind to. But did you know that there are some things that God cannot do? Now, it's not a power issue. It's a matter of character. If it's not holy, then God can't do it. Indeed, he will not do it. And one of those things that God cannot do is lie. He cannot lie. In fact, Hebrews 6:18 says it's impossible for God to lie. So that means that whatever God tells us is true. His testimony is true. You know, we believe people's testimonies all the time in court or when recommending a place to eat or a product to buy. But if we believe people's testimonies, if we believe they're credible, how much more credible is God's testimony? How much greater is God's testimony? So much more credible and so much greater, right? It's without a doubt true. Well, here is one thing that God has testified to, that Jesus is the Son of God. God himself has declared that over and over. And so do you receive that testimony as true? If not, then the book of 1 John says that you make God out to be a liar. You're saying that God's testimony isn't believable. Beloved, God not only has not lied, he cannot lie. Therefore, his testimony is without a doubt absolutely true. So I beg you to believe God's testimony and receive Jesus as Savior and Lord today. Change begins in you.
The Change Begins in You is brought to you in part by Piggly Wiggly of Collinsville, Patrick Allen Companies, Mitchell Tire and Wrecker in Collinsville, and Mowdy Cabinetry. And good morning to everyone who is just waking up. Jeff Lewis, I see you're up and at 'em. Miss Terry McWilliams, Sandra, Janice Bounds also stirring and trying to find that coffee cup somewhere. I found mine. It just keeps running out. I'm going to head back over in just a moment and get that going there. As we start looking at headlines that are shaping America, what's going on in your town? Let's see what we've got here. As often as we run up on news stories, and I'll word this to as PG as I possibly can, as we have someone who is accused of rape, an underage girl. And I guess there's no other way to word this. The judge has passed sentence. He will be castrated for what he's done. He has volunteered to do this. That strong, that's happening in Louisiana is where that happened. Pretty sure after that it won't happen anymore. And there's no other way to word that, of what's going on with that. As we look at other things here, do y'all remember the 16-year-old daughter that was missing that we brought up with the guy that started the app Flickr? Do y'all know that? She has been found safely. She was with an adult inside a van. She has been located. No word if there's charges or if there was some form of permission for her to be with him, but she has been found safe. to a billionaire family. I know that they were relieved, regardless of whatever the situation is, that she's home and she's safe. I think we talked about that on Friday. That is good news as we see that. Puff Daddy Combs is back in the news there. He's hoping to have charges dropped against him. We'll just leave it at that. The charges just go wild for a lot of these rappers and things. As we see budget cuts across America, a lot of times there's reason for budget cuts. There's good reasons, and then, well, there's some that makes you scratch your head and say, how are we allowing this to happen as we are inundated by migrants who aren't United States citizens? A firefighter he lost his job, cutbacks, because they didn't have enough money to keep going because they were giving so much money to migrants that are flooding the city. He's had a heart attack and passed away. Now, are the two connected of him worrying? I can't say that, but we do know the facts of he was let go. He's had a heart attack. 36. The bigger picture is here, Americans are losing their jobs when we could close the border. We could do the right thing. And believe me, I think that's a saying, or at least it is in my head, there's going to be more of this. We don't know the full effects of what's happening from all of this. Lindsey Graham, I want to be clear about this. Lindsey Graham is usually on whatever side of the fence looks good into the media. This week he is saying that there is absolutely no constitutional immunity for President Trump. Again, remember, Lindsey is wherever it makes him look good. Senator from South Carolina. What was that word they coined? Was it, it was rhino, wasn't it? Right. Yeah, Bob. Just telling you the way I see it on that one there. As we look around some more, 4 teenagers, this is horrifying, without a doubt. Police are in pursuit of a car that's running 111 miles an hour. At some point, it's decided to do a pit maneuver. Now, keep in mind, they're running from the law, the people in this car. A pit maneuver is done, the car flips, and people end up dying over this. It was 4 people in the car, and ended up all being teenagers. America is trying to blame the police. It's sad, it's horrible, but remember, none of this would have happened had they pulled over when the blue lights came on. As we see across America, what is right is wrong and what's wrong is right. Again, it's tragedy. We hate that it happened, but it could have been prevented. All you had to do was stop when the police put on the lights. None of this would be happening. No 4 funerals, no nothing, no blaming. I think it's a point in time in America where you need to take responsibility for your own actions. And again, as I said, it's horrifying, it's bad. But we wouldn't be having this conversation had they stopped there. We have someone who fell to their death in Alaska climbing a mountain, 52 years old. Slipped on the ice. Horrifying there. Now, I've brought this up several days as we look at Harvard University, where we've had all of these protests over and over the last week. Now, let me just show you what has happened. And I go to Daily Mail. Now, again, I'm a big advocate of if you're doing things that are getting federal tax dollars, which is the United States taxpayer, and you start doing things that aren't right, take the money away. It usually clears things up. Let's pull this up. This is Daily Mail is where this is. Y'all see that United States flag? This is Harvard University. Let's just take this and move this across. Anyone notice anything different? They took down the stars and bars and raised a Palestine flag. Harvard. That goes on across America with each one of these campuses. It's starting to be an epidemic there. I don't know if epidemic is a word, but it's moving from one college to the next. What about teaching class? Just my thoughts on that. We have horrible news this morning as we talk about the weather that has affected the United States over the weekend. Tornadoes out to our west. Now, we will have some severe weather moving in a little bit later on today, but out to our west. Oklahoma, 4 lives were lost this weekend, a minimum of 4, possibly 5. We're starting to get rumor they may have found one other person, one of these including a child. 27 million people are without power this morning. It's a horrible situation there. If you watched all these tornadoes, there's tons and tons of video that have been captured with the storms. We'll keep you up to date on this. We're going to look at your forecast next as it gets close and starts moving toward Mississippi. It's not going to be near as bad for Mississippi as it has been out west. We'll go over all of that in just a moment here at the Scotty Ray Report.
The Preserve at Meridian is the premier senior living community in the Meridian area, offering independent living cottages, assisted living, and maintain their independence and pursue an engaging lifestyle with a robust activities calendar, personalized care programs, wellness activities, restaurant-style dining, and much more. Call or visit us online today at preserveatmeridian.com to schedule your personal tour.
Welcome back. Let's get into our forecast now.
Your forecast is brought to you by EMEPA, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative.
As we look at those record highs and record lows, anybody remember 1970? It was a warm day, all the way up to 91 back in 1970. That was kind of warm there. Now, our coldest day on record, as we go back to take a look at this, let's see, we go back to 1992, where it was a cool 39 degrees on this day. Far from that right now as we sit at 66. What is the high for today? We'll see here 81. We'll get 79 there in Philadelphia, and even up to Columbus Air Force Base on this eastern side, staying a little bit warmer in Mississippi. 81 there. As you move over towards Stark Vegas, you start seeing the temperatures fall a little bit, and by the time you get to the Delta, Greenwood at 76, all the way down to Natchez, staying steady at 76 down the river. Again, a few degrees warmer on this side of the state than rather on the west. As we look at Bama, 83 in Demopolis, should see the same thing in Birmingham this morning as well. Montgomery a little bit warmer with 86 as we glance at that. We'll go to radar in just a moment. Now, here's what the National Weather Service is telling us today. Is you'll see that the Meridian area under a level 1. Kemper County not involved in this at all at this moment. As we look at Philadelphia, only the southwest corner of Neshoba County is going to be affected by this. And this will be out near the Dixon area, Neshoba County Fairgrounds there, as we look at this up near Union, those areas there. All of Newton County falls under it, Clark County, and all things southward. But we don't get to a level 2 until we get to Jackson, that area from Jackson due north up Highway 61 on Vicksburg, following that little swath from Yazoo City to Cleveland down to Brookhaven. Just that western side will be a level 2. Once you cross the river, it's a level 3 there in Louisiana for today. Now, the timeline for the Meridian area to get any of these storms will be beginning at noon through about 5 p.m. tonight, or this afternoon, I guess is a better way to word that. We'll be here with you all through this to walk you through it should any thunderstorm activity happen there. Now, as we'll look at this, what are they saying for us? Damaging wind gusts, hail, quarter-size hail. Tornadoes can never be ruled out. They can pop up. We've seen them come up to where you have that level 3 where it's more likely, but it could happen here. Slight risk here. We'll watch all of this behind the scenes to let you know what happens here. Now, the flash flooding late tonight into today as this is entering these areas here. It's going to be from the west of Neshoba County and Atala County. These areas here are going to get a lot more rain. This just gives you a demonstration of where the heaviest of rain will fall. Lawrence there in Newton County will get more than Newton will. Everything back west toward Jackson is going to get more. That's through this morning there, and it's coming into the state. We'll look at it in a moment. Above average temperatures, isn't it? It's hot there over the next 10 days as we look here to see our forecast. Here we go, 83 today. That's 70% chance of showers and thunderstorms. By tonight, we're looking at a low around 61. Tomorrow rolls in with 1 degree higher, 84. By Wednesday, things are shaping up. We're back to 87 as we head toward the weekend. Now, as we look at what's going to happen on Saturday, there's a lot of events. We've got the downtown full moon on 5th, Friday night. There is a 30% chance we're days out from this. And by Saturday, it's decreasing to a 20% chance and then back to a 30% chance on Sunday. But there's a lot of outdoor activities happening this weekend. We'll watch this forecast as it gets closer to us. Here we go. The next 7 days into that. We're 2 weeks out from all of this. We're staying steady, and we see our first 9-0. Look at that. May the 9th looks like it will be 90. It hovers all around it that week, but on the 9th, it does cross there. All the way to the 13th, we're looking at high about 85. So our warmest day coming soon as we look at 2 weeks out. What's happening with the fishing forecast today? The best time to be there going on now through about 7:30 this morning. If you're running a little late, it should be good for, well, at least another 45 minutes. The wind's going to be southeast wind, 5 to 15 with gust as high as 25 today. That's a lot, isn't it? You got a minor time a little bit later on this morning around 9:30. If you missed it totally and still feel like you got to go, that's the best time to be there. Quick look at what's happening with your fishing forecast. Now let's go back now and pull up radar and show exactly what's going on with this and what the threat of severe weather is today. As we pull this up, we go to Honda Meridian radar. Look at this line of thunderstorms that is moving in. Lafayette down here, that is pretty serious there, as we have 58-mile-an-hour gusts moving into the Lafayette and New Iberia neighborhoods there in Louisiana. As we get closer to the Mississippi line, look at this around Natchez, just east of Natchez, Bude, Mississippi, Fayette, Woodville, getting a lot of storms right now. Light storm activity moving in just west of Jackson, in between there and Vicksburg. We got a lot of rain back here west of Vicksburg. Look at this, Delhi, Louisiana, Rayville, these areas, Monroe, a lot of rain right now. Winnsboro, if I pronounce that right. Clayton, those areas there in Louisiana. But it's a strong line of thunderstorms that is moving. As you can tell, this will most likely, let's put this into motion and show you how this works out here. The worst of this is going to go through the Baton Rouge, Biloxi area and missing the Meridian areas. We were looking at how they would lay out. Now let's go here and look at the severity as we do this. Pull this up severe to show you how this will work. Storm prediction for today. As you'll see there, it's just a level 1 here, and it cuts off right there in Kemper County. This goes up to the DeKalb line. So this has been updated since the National Weather Service put out their statistics earlier. This is a line here at Lauderdale, Mississippi, moving to the west there through DeKalb, and then back with Philadelphia being the line, back over to Carthage. And again, it's all level 1 in the state of Mississippi. Nothing bad there as we look at today. So a silver lining there. We could get some showers. That looks to be about it. So we'll be behind the scenes watching all this throughout the day. And again, our timeline falls roughly from noon until 5, somewhere in there in afternoon thunderstorms. Again, we'll be there. We're 5 minutes away from coming back, going live with the morning show. I do hope you're joining us. We'll give you all of the headlines of what's gone on over the weekend. We've had a little bit of everything, from car chases, stabbings, to a train accident. Whole bunch more in between with that also. We're going to cover every bit of that. Don't miss out. Be informed. Know what's happening locally with us right here at the Scotty Ray Report. We'll be right back.
The Scotty Ray Report is brought to you by our following partners.